Good morning. It is a dreary, yucky day here. And so you're getting dreary, yucky lighting, but I wanted to give a little tour of some of where the buttons are on Instagram, and just some basic functionalities because I know that for some of you, that's what's getting you in the way of you creating more content. So let's go. And I think I might even do these lessons kind of quarterly because the buttons do change, and your phone might not look like my phone if you don't have an iPhone, if you haven't done the most recent update. But generally, I'll try and tell you what things kind of generally don't change. Okay. So your phone might not look exactly like this, but we're going to give it our best effort. Start by going into the App Store and updating your app because we did just get an update this week. I will show you first what the update is. So if you go to any post and you tap View Insights, which is just beneath the post, beside Boost Post, View Insights. This gives you all the information on that specific post. There's two places to get information on a post. It's right there, and then there's another one in your settings. So we're seeing right now that this post has 14 likes, one comment, one save. That's what these icons across the top are. Hopefully you can see my cursor. I can see the accounts reached and accounts engaged, um, the followers and non-followers, and uh, how many reach I got from hashtags. Um, these are pretty low numbers. But you know what I like to say? It doesn't matter because two people going to my website, external link taps from a post like this is actually freaking amazing. So that's awesome. That could be two new people that I get to work with, right? Okay, so that's what the insights used to look like. And then we had no insights for reels. And that's the big change that's happened is now we have insights for our reels. So if I go to something I've posted recently, because I think you can only see these for like your most recent posts because the update just happened. So now we can see all the stuff that we normally got. Plus, we're seeing under plays, initial plays and replays. So now we're seeing this number of how many people watched the video all the way through, and then how many people watched it again. Or no, this counts for started the video is a play, and the replay is started at a second time. We're also seeing watch time. So this had an average watch time of 16 seconds, which honestly, very proud of that. That is a very high watch time. But if you see that your average watch time on a video is only 1 second, that is such a good indicator to go back and watch the video and say, well, what made people leave? Why didn't they stay? And for me, I will go to the 16-second mark and say, okay, what made people leave there? And there's also this graph that indicates it. Um, those are the new changes there. I think there's a few. Oh, they're also going to show you how many followers you got from each reel. I don't know if I just didn't get followers from this reel, so it's not listed there, or I just don't have that functionality yet. Okay. So, in order to go back to your home, to yourself, to your own page, we'll call that home, you usually tap your own face in the bottom right corner. So there's this little house on the very bottom left corner of the screen. If I tap that, this is my feed. This is all the people that I follow. But if I tap my face in the bottom right, I'm going back to my home. See how right now there is color around my face? Anytime you see that for yourself or for somebody else, that means that they actively have a story that is live. That's going to come in handy to know when you're doing your engagement strategy, because if you only, and if this is too advanced, like again, just ignore me. I will get to all the simple things and the more advanced things. If you are doing an engagement strategy, you want to make sure the people you're engaging with have like been online recently and that it's not just a dormant account. So one of the tips is if you just engage with people that have the color around their face, it means they have a story, which means they actually use their account. On most platforms, the plus icon means make a new thing. Like that's pretty standard. So in this case, when I tap the plus icon, I'm now given a list of, do you want to make a reel, a post, a story highlight, etc. You know what? I haven't even tapped many of these. Mostly I'm using that to tap reel or post or story. The three lines in the top right corner, that's going to take you behind the scenes. That's going to take you into your settings. And so you'll notice if I tap the home button down here, or the house, the tiny house in the bottom left, then I don't have those buttons in the top right anymore. So if you're ever like, how come I can't find them? Because these buttons in the top right are changing if I've tapped the house or if I've tapped my face, house. So if I've tapped my house and I see this little heart, that's typically going to show me my notifications. So this is all of the people that have liked a post, followed me, etc. So then I'll tap the house again down here. And then I have this little, that's Pete's girlfriend. If I have this little um, speech bubble, typically on most social media apps, the speech bubble indicates private chats. Okay. So if I touch that, it's telling me with this little icon that I have 5 private chats waiting in my direct messages. Okay. What else? Okay, so if I go down, let's talk about these buttons down here. So if I tap this bad boy right here, that's the Reels tab. Now I am on a Reels tab of like strangers. Okay. The Reels tab is showing me not just the people I follow, but anybody. Okay. So a lot of people tell me I start watching videos and then I end of my own people and then I end up God knows where. Here's another sneaky thing that Instagram does. If you go back to the house and I go through my feed, and I find a reel. Oh, that's my own. Okay. Okay, so here's a reel. I want you to notice a few things about this right now. Okay. One, the top is cut off and the bottom is cut off. This reel should be the entire length of the screen, but because we're viewing it in my feed, the top and the bottom are cut off. So remember that when you post your reels, that the very, very top and the very bottom are going to be cut off. Okay. Now, if we say watch again, see how it's opened up? It now takes the whole screen and now we can see the top and the bottom, but the bottom does still have like stuff covering it down here. We've got his name, we've got a bit of the caption. So we don't want to put content, we don't want to put anything important or text or anything down there because no one's going to be able to see it. Okay. Same for up here. You can see on my phone, I've got reels, my time, my battery, all of that up there. So we don't want to put anything on your reel at the very, very top or the very bottom. Okay. So remember how I was in my feed when I scrolled to get to this? Now, because I opened the Reel app, when I scroll, I'm onto the Reels tab now. I'm no longer looking at my own people. I know that's kind of confusing. You might still be like, what? I have to go back and play that moment again because I don't know what Jenna means. But I think the idea is they want you to be discovering more people. They want to be more like TikTok and they want to kind of get you into the Reels thing. Okay, let's go back to some keep it simple. Okay, so now if I tap this little magnifying glass right here, let's see what I searched last. This is the Discover tab. So you might use this all the time. You might use it never. My husband uses this tab all the time. I don't use it very often. But this is a really good indication of like, why do I have so much Friends content on here? That's so weird. Oh, because of Matthew Perry. So everybody's Discover tab looks completely freaking different. Like, for instance, I recently just told Melanie, who's the main writer for my retainer side of my business, where we manage people's social media. I was like, I want all of the covers of carousels to look like this because that's what everybody's looks like. And she sent me her Discover tab, and everybody's front covers were like cluttered and busy and crazy. And she's like, isn't that funny? Like, it's so you're getting served very different content than me. If you have a specific niche, like you work with babies or parents, your Discover page is going to be all that. It's all based on what you interact with. And like my husband's is all golf. Like it's all golf and hockey and sports stuff. I hope you can't see everything on my screen, but if you can, here we are. I'm a mess. Okay, so that's your Discover tab. You do want to try and make it to this tab because that means your content is going to go out in front of other people. It's not a strategy we can rely on, but if you get enough engagement on your posts and they're doing well, then Instagram will put them on the Discover tab. And then when you go to those insights that I showed you, you'll have another line that says also seen by 300 people because of Discover. And that's what that means. Okay, so that's the magnifying glass, and then that's that plus sign, and we already know what that means, right? The plus sign means add more content. So it's the same thing as before. It's your way to add your, if you look down here, your post, story, reel, live. It's just a different way to show it. Okay. And then you have your camera roll here, and then you have your drafts. You can see your drafts saved there. There's another way to access your drafts I want to show you. If you tap your face, bottom right corner, and then you tap here, which is the Reels tab for yourself. Oh, actually, let me explain this. So this little box is all of your posts. This one is all of your Reels. Okay, right here. This one is guides. If you don't see that tab, it's because you've never posted a guide. Most of us haven't because they're just really not popular. Like you can see, I experimented with these like 5 years ago. And then this one is pictures you've been tagged in. So that's if you tagged yourself in a picture or if somebody else tagged you in a picture, they show up there. If you're a business like a brewery or a storefront or whatever, that's really good to check because you never know who's tagging you. Okay, so let's go back to here. Right, your drafts. So here for the Reels tab, the drafts are saved right there. So you just tap that and it's opening you up into all your drafts. And if you want, you can tap select and delete ones you're never going to use and discard. Or if you want to edit one, you can just open it up and re-edit it and put it up. I get asked a lot about featured stories, or as most people call them, those tiny bubbles at the top of the screen. So these featured stories are when you've taken a story that you post and when it's live or after it's been archived, you can say add to feature stories and just basically save it down here. So like this only lasts 24 hours, your story, and these ones down here last forever. So this is a good place to like put things like testimonials or about me, or if there's a question you always get asked and you're trying to like and maybe you're getting like tired of answering it, you could make it into a post, and then when people ask you, you can send them there, or you make it into a featured story. And all it's going to be is it just looks like a collection of all of those old stories. So you can also change the covers of them, make them pretty. Should probably change that one. You can change the name of them, but you don't get very many characters. They have to keep the titles of them very short. You can see here free training is too long. Okay, professional dashboard. That's going to show you more insights. So that's going to be the insights for like your whole page. And you can look at it like right now, I see that I'm looking at just a week's worth of insights. I reached 22,000 people. You can also change that to seeing, a month or 90 days or whatever. Accounts reached is number of humans you reached. Accounts engaged is how many of those humans touched your content. Total followers, content you shared. And you can go deep on these and like you can really dive in and get a lot of information. So for instance, I tapped accounts reached, and now I'm looking at 30 days. Oh, sorry, 30 days, not a week. 22,000 people, 19,000 of them were non-followers. That's probably because I posted a lot of reels. You can see this between like followers and non-followers. You can see what your top content was based on reach, which is all of these things down here were my top content. And I also want to call attention to like, these numbers aren't massive, right? They're not like mind blowing. It's not like when I did that Axe stuff and had those viral videos and they were like seeing millions of people. But because I post so much, I'm able to drive these numbers up, right? So this only reached quote unquote like 2,400 people. But when you're posting 10 times a week, that quickly adds up to 20,000 people. You can also see where your people are, which is helpful. And then I can see this number. This is the number that really matters to me is 407 people tapped my website in the last 30 days, which is huge because that's really what we want at the end of the day, 400 people getting like into our funnel. moving towards working with us. Okay, so I'm gonna go back by tapping this back button. See what else I can show you. Let's just make a simple post. Okay, so I'm gonna click the plus button and tap post right here. And then I can see my whole camera roll down here. So I'm just going to choose something from my camera roll. Oh, this is my new podcast episode if you're interested. Then I'm going to hit next and next and add a caption right here. I can tag people if I want to. I recommend occasionally adding your location just because that might help you reach more people. You can add music if you want. And if you go into an advanced settings at the bottom there, you can, okay, there's this schedule your post. Don't use that. It doesn't work yet. It is so dodgy. Molly one time posted like 16 reels in one day because the schedule your post failed. If it worked, I would teach you about it. I would tell you to use it, but it is so glitchy. It barely works. Hopefully one day it will. And then you can schedule your reels. Okay. But that day is not today. You can choose to hide and like and view counts on your post. If you could do this for like your whole account, or you could do it just for an individual post. If you wanted to, turn off commenting if you needed to. You could toggle this to automatically share to Facebook. I don't recommend that either because you're going to put hashtags on this post, right? And hashtags, you don't need them on Facebook, so it's going to look janky on Facebook. So I recommend if you want something to go up on both Instagram and Facebook, you either use later to do that or you manually take the extra 2 seconds to put it onto Facebook. Write alt text means you can describe what the photo is so that phone readers, people who are like blind and what do you say, like hard of sight, visually impaired, know what's going on in the photo. So if you have like a particularly if you like choose to be particularly accessible, or you have a brand where it's in your best interest to be particularly accessible, you want to do that. Or if you have people in your community who you know are visually impaired, then you want to do that. I think later offers it now. We have never prioritized it, but we probably should in efforts to be as accessible as possible. Okay, what else? Let's make a reel really quickly. I'm going to go through how to edit some basic editing features on a reel, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so I'm going to click this button right here. Also put all of your questions in the comments, and like if I can understand enough of what you're saying, then like without talking to you, I'll try my best to answer you. So here's reel. We're going to click that. Now I can pull up just anything that is on my camera roll. Or I could make something new. So I could open my camera, I could access my drafts. Here it's telling me what sounds are trending, a few different options. I've actually never used that button. I'm going to go ahead and post this post, which is something it's showing me from my camera roll. So I tapped it there, and now I'm going to tap next down here. Now I could use these little white lines, the beginning. This is all one clip, this video, because I already made it. So I can drag this little line and change when this video begins and change when it ends. Now, as we continue on, if I had multiple clips, you can drag the beginning and the end of every single clip, okay? So mine's good. This is where I want it to start. This is where I want it to end. So I'm going to tap next up here. And there isn't really a ton to add to this. So all I'm going to do is add captions, automated captions. So I'm going to click this button here, the little face, and look for captions. For me, it's sitting right there, but for you, you might need to type captions in order to find it. And this isn't captions like how you caption a post. This is actually subtitles. It's closed captioning. So we tap that. And it's going to take a little second to get it sorted. And it says transcribing audio. And then eventually it's going to pop up. And then we have the opportunity to edit it, change the color, fix any typos. But typically it does a pretty good job. If you needed to fix typos, usually you tap the words. Yep, that worked. Tap the words. And I can just I'm just scrolling through them like this. And it's just kind of like editing like a document. So I could just scroll through, and if I see a mistake, I can tap the word and just retype that word. Okay. And then when I'm done, done in the top right corner. Now to change like how these words look, you can pinch them and expand them, pinch and expand. You can place them where you want them. Again, you don't want to go right to the bottom and you don't want to go right to the top. And then I want to, so then I'm going to select them by touching the captions, which makes them jump up to the middle, but you keep going, you haven't done anything wrong. And I'm going to use these tools up here to change the colors. And if I tap the little A, it gives them a background. And then if I tap the color, I can choose a color for the background from the bottom here. And you can also drag this sideways to access even more colors. And watch this. You can also hold down a color to get the entire color wheel. Oh, that's such a pretty pink. You can also use the color picker tool, that one, to pick any color from the screen to be that color. Okay, color picker tool. Canva also has a color picker tool. So that's how you see things starting to look like really cohesive, because I could use the color picker tool and choose my sweater. Oh, well, my sweater looks pretty dark in this, but I could choose like theoretically a color from the video. And then it's like, oh, wow, how'd she make those captions match? It looks so clean. Also, see these lines popping up? Your phone might do that or it might not, but that's Instagram saying don't put it too close to the side because that's going to be cut off. Okay, once that's done, I'm gonna watch it for a second just to make sure I never like have the words over my face. I don't think I do, or maybe it's not. Okay, then I'm gonna tap next down here. Oh, I'll do, okay, I'll add something extra just so you can see. So click edit video down here. And now we see like a full view of the whole video. And we have more tools down here, right? So we can add clips, add audio, add text. Let me show you how to add text. I'm going to tap add text and then add text. I'm going to type it out. Same thing for the colors up here. You can change the colors, and you can also change the font by tapping. Oh my gosh, I do so much of this without thinking. Okay, so see the A right here? Tap that A, and then these are all the font options all the way along here. So you can just choose the one you like. As you scroll, it'll show you what each of them looks like. And again, you can like change the color. And then again, you pinch and go wide to add your text. Done. Now, whatever thing is selected in yellow at the bottom here is the thing you're working on. So if I wanted that to add text to be like my title, actually here, I'm going to make it my actual title so I can go through this process. Instagram update. I try and always use basically the same texts because just to keep it consistent. Ideally, we used to say if when somebody like is scrolling through the feed and they see your content, you want them to like immediately know it's you. So I try and always use the same fonts. Okay, now I'm going to go back down to edit video. Now, nothing is highlighted in yellow, so I get to tap whatever I want to work on. If I want to work on the captions, I'll tap the captions. If I want to work on that text I just added, I'll text that. And then same way as we dragged those white bars, we're going to drag these yellow bars so that it only shows up at the very beginning. And now I can see Instagram update is only going to show up for the first couple of seconds there. And now I'm just going to make sure it's not in front of my face. Okay. You cannot watch this video and then suddenly know how to do all of this. It's impossible, right? You have to get up on your feet. You can't watch a soccer game and then become a soccer player. You have to get up on your feet, as we say in the theater. You have to try it. You have to play with it. You have to get your muscle memory in your fingers. Okay. So, the best thing that you can do is like post a reel right now. I'm just going to save draft and leave this, is go and post something and go and press the buttons and play with it. When I was learning digital marketing and we were learning Google Insights, Google Analytics, the best thing the teacher ever said to me is just go press a bunch of buttons. You can't break it. So you can't break it. Worst case scenario, you accidentally post something you didn't want up and then you go and delete it right away and nobody knows anyway. Okay. So put all your questions in the bottom. Maybe watch this video again and like press the buttons with me. If you don't see the video or if you don't see the buttons, oh, I just got my alert that I've spent my allotted amount of time on Instagram today. Just 20 minutes. So if you don't see any of those buttons on your phone, I don't know where they are because I only have an iPhone, but someone else in the chat might know where they are. So still ask, and maybe somebody else can help you out. But look for the icons, like look for the plus symbol, look for the three lines that say you're going to settings, etc. Okay. Good luck.